Good evening. Welcome back to Mo's channel. Today is Tuesday. I've been talking about success. As an individual. Today, I want to talk about success as a nation. And in doing so, I want to talk about America. And I want to talk about empires and the rise of empires and the fall of empires. There have been many conspiracy theories out there, and I've studied them, I've looked into them, about how America came to be, about how the Federal Reserve came to be, the IRS came to be, about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, DuPonts, the Morgans. Some of it is true, some of it I don't know. Regardless, in 1776, a group of wealthy American landowners decided they don't want to be subjects of King George anymore. So they rose up. They drafted the Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, and they said, Britain, fuck you. We're going to have our Amerixit. You have your Brexit today, we had our Amerixit then. So they broke away. Fought, bam, 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 bam. See, from its inception, America was flawed because it was based on exploitation, first of the Indians, taking their land, massacring them. Yet it is these same Indians who, when the Americans got here and could not till the land, it is the Indians that fed them. It is the Indians that housed them. Yet the Americans flipped on them. White people, many of the white people in this country who can trace their roots way, way back, did not come here free people. They were indentured servants. You go to a bar in Dublin, Ireland, have a little bit too much to drink, you fall asleep in the street, you wake up, you're in a goddamn shit. Like, what the fuck, nigga? Where am I going? Oh, you're gonna work in America, motherfucker. 10 years, they'll let you go free. In 1776, in 1787, in 1800, the majority of white people in this country cannot vote. If you don't own land, you cannot vote. Slaves, shackled, brought here. Nigga, get in the field, pick some cotton, motherfucker. What? Crack that whip. So from its inception, America was flawed. From its inception. Go back and look at any other nation. France, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, Netherlands, Russia, Japan, China. Go and look at any other Western or Asian nation. They were not found off of slavery, off of indentured servitude, and off of killing off a hell of a lot of fucking Indians. From its inception, America was flawed. For the first few years, America did well. then something happened. See, when they founded America, they wanted it to be something different than Europe. In Europe, the king owned everything, and he controlled everything, and the people had no freedoms. When America was founded, after about 1820, I think it's about 1820 when all white men could vote, up until, so we'll say between 1820 and about 1880, when Rockefeller came around and the railroads came around and industrialization came around, America was different. It was a nation for the people, at least those white people, white men. Because white women could not vote until I think 1900s, early 1900s. But around 1880, 1890, when you had the Gilded Age, when you had J.P. Morgan saving the U.S. government from bankruptcy, when you had the Rockefellers and Standard Oil, when you had Vanderbilt, Carnegie Mellon, the railroads, DuPonts. At that point, the money started taking over everything. Now, if these people had earned their money the right way, I come from nothing, I bust my ass, pull myself up by my bootstraps, like they like to say, that's cool. But these people who became the wealthy people stole their money. They got their money through unscrupulous means. So it wasn't honesty. It was conmanship. It was thievery. And they built their empires and they wanted to concentrate all their wealth in those hands. In order to do that, they had to buy influence with the government. And so by buying influence with the government, by 1920, when you had the Federal Reserve and the IRS, which were illegal per the Constitution, and the Federal Reserve Act and the IRS Act were never ratified by 2/3 of the state legislatures as required. At that point, money had taken over America. By about 1930, 1940, America was bankrupt. And since then, America has been bankrupt. The only thing that is keeping America afloat is the US dollar. And the only thing that is keeping the US dollar afloat is the fact that all oil in the world must be settled in dollars. The fate of America lies in the Middle East. And I want you to think about that for one fucking second. Saddam Hussein was overthrown not because he had weapons of mass destruction, but because when they finally lifted sanctions on Saddam, he said, "Fuck you bitches. I'm gonna sell my oil for euros." Where is he now? Dead. Or selling pizza outside the White House, which I think he is. Muammar Gaddafi, he made two big mistakes. Number one, he had the audacity to try and take Africa off of the independence of the West. He had the audacity to make Africa free. He was going to create an Africa World Bank and Africa IMF. And he was investing in African countries. Number two, The biggest mistake he made, he decided to sell his oil for gold. Not dollars, but gold. Venezuela. See, Iran, Venezuela, Russia, I think China was part of it, were working together to stop selling oil in dollars because they know if you stop selling oil crude sales in dollars, the demand for dollars will plummet. The demand for dollars plummets. The demand for dollar denominated assets, such as stock, U.S. stock, or more importantly, U.S. Treasury bonds and bills, will plummet. Demand for U.S. debt, federal debt plummets, means that the U.S. government cannot borrow like it did before. Worse still, demand for U.S. debt plummets, demand for U.S. denominated assets plummets, the value of the dollar, since it's tied to these aggregate demands, the demand for the dollar will also plummet. The demand for the dollar plummets, the U.S. economy crashes. As simple as that. We are a debt-fueled economy. Federal government is in debt. Over $30 trillion if you include unfunded liabilities like Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. State governments are in debt. Municipalities, counties, city governments are in debt. Corporations are in debt, and consumers are in debt. This is a nation drowning in debt. And the only way we can exist within that debt bubble, within that debt pool, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is because of the demand of the dollar, which keeps interest rates low. Now, you're a homeowner, you got a mortgage, 30-year mortgage, 5%, you got great credit, $500,000 home, you're probably paying $1,500 a month, right? Your income, let's say $6,000, $7,000 a month. You got 2 kids, a wife, you got 3 cars, making payments on them. You got credit card debt, but you got good credit. So you got low interest, 5%. So overall, you're making about $4,000 a month in debt payments off of $7,000 income. After taxes, $6,000. So you get about $2,000 a month left over. If interest rates were to double, you go from paying $4,000 a month to paying $8,000 a month off of $6,000 net income. You're now bankrupt. If I'm a corporation, every year I get about $3 billion operating cash flow, earnings, revenue, profit, whatever. That's my money. Annual debt payments are $1.5 billion. I can handle that. I'm left over with $1.5 billion. If interest rates were to double, now I'm paying $3 billion. I have zero cash left over. I can't borrow anymore because banks, people that'll buy corporate bonds, they'll look at my numbers and say, look, hold up, motherfucker, you make $3 billion, you're paying $3 billion, you want to borrow another billion, how the fuck are you going to pay that? When corporations can't pay their debt, when municipalities cannot pay their debt, when state governments cannot pay their debt, when the federal government cannot pay its debt, when consumers cannot pay their debt, what happens? What happens? See, in the past, you could lower interest rates to stimulate economic activity. Now, you could lower interest rates on the assumption that there was a buying market for that security. But if the status of U.S. debt is reduced to junk, the Fed cannot lower interest rates. So if the economy is in a standstill, and that's one tool the Fed could use to lower interest rates, but no one will buy that debt, what are you going to do? If interest rates go up, the prices of goods have to go up. Now you have inflation. If the federal debt is reduced to junk status, state, municipal, consumer, corporate debt is junk status, you have hyperinflation. Why am I saying this? A few days ago, our great leader with a big brain decided he's gonna kill a motherfucker. I honestly suspect Israel put him to that, because Israel is about to get its wish. It's about to have the U.S. go to war with Iran. Israel has successfully pushed the U.S. to war with Iran, and we don't even realize it. We call them our ally. I would caution the American government against going out in full-scale war with Iran. I really would. I really would. On September 11th, 2001, two planes, as they say, I don't know. I'll just say the World Trade Centers fell. 3,000 Americans lost their lives for no other fucking reason than they went to work that day. Dead. It took the U.S. economy about 2 years to recover from one incident. Before you declare war on Iran, I want you, the American government, to think really seriously about who you're going against. Iran backs Hezbollah, Hamas. Iran got operatives all over the fucking world. Iranians are not dumb. Iranians have a very good fucking military. They have missiles. We invaded Saddam, who'd been suffering from years of sanctions, who'd suffered from a humiliating defeat by Iran, and another crushing defeat after he invaded Kuwait, after we told him to invade Kuwait. It took us about 3-4 months to actually achieve some kind of victory. 3 to 4 months against an adversary who was, based on his condition, he was a piece of shit. It's like you are in perfect health and you want to come fight me. And I spent the past 3 years recovering from cancer. Then after that, I had kidney problems and I broke my hand. I just been fucked up. And you want to come fight me. And it takes you 3 hours just to kick my ass. What kind of piece of shit are you? We're going against Iran. All this shit is on point. Iran fucked ISIS up. It's Iran that defeated ISIS, not us. In Syria, the stalemate in Syria is because of Iran. And they got Russia on their back. And they're cool with China. What the fuck are we thinking? What are you thinking, Trump? We go to war with Iran. Trust me. In Iraq, we lost about 3,000. I'm a former Marine. Those are my brothers, my sisters. They gone. They gone. We lost about 4,000. That's not even counting the many thousands that came back fucked up in the head, hands blown off. We go to war with Iran. And we set our troops out there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Conservatively. At least 20,000 Americans are going to die out there. 20,000. Let's not even count the tens of thousands who will be fucked up in the head and fucked up in the body. You think Vietnam was bad? Vietnam were fighting some fucking Viet Cong running around in the jungle. All they had is guns. We going up against a true adversary. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Forget the battlefield. Straits of Hormuz. All the oil is going to be cut off. Let me say that again. No oil will flow from the Middle East out to the world. Aside from the catastrophic impact that's going to have on the global economy, no oil being sold means zero demand for US dollars. You want to destroy America, Mr. Trump? You would have done it. You would have done it. And it might extend elsewhere. What are the shipping lanes might they go out there and fuck up? Now you're fucking with international trade. Now you're fucking with people's jobs, people's livelihoods. You really want to lose this election, don't you, Mr. Trump? This ain't a walk in the park. Israel is guiding you down the wrong path, Mr. Trump. And you need to tell Israel, fuck you. You fight your own battles, bitch. I didn't tell you to take their fucking land. I didn't tell you to shit on the Palestinians. That's why they hate you. Now you want me to defend you and you keep fucking shit up? Watch what you're getting into, Mr. Trump. But let's suppose that somehow, some way, they make it here. Let's suppose that. Now we're out there at war with them. Crude oil ain't going nowhere. The world is dying of thirst because they ain't got no crude. The global economy is going to shit. The US dollar ain't shit. And then they come here. And all they need is to blow up a major element of society and kill 5,000 people. And then America is done. Mr. Trump, you have opened up a fucked up can of shit. And I don't know how the fuck you're gonna get out of this shit. I do not. All empires rise. All empires maintain some time up top. And then all empires fall. America was in decline. Not because of the common reasons people like to cite, billionaires, this, billionaire. That's not the problem. The problem is that resources were siphoned off and concentrated in a few hands. When you do that, only a small segment of society develops, and the rest either stagnates or falls. Go back and look at every fucking empire in history. The things that were happening in America before Trump happened in every other empire before they fell. We have a woeful decay of morality. Man wants to sleep with man. Woman wants to sleep with woman. Man wants to sleep with dog. Next thing, man want to fuck a tree. And then a chicken. Who the fuck knows? All these mass shootings, they're indicative of an underlying sickness in our society. Vanity, conceit, stunting, showing off, putting others down, disrespecting your fellow man. We become garbage. Before Trump, we were headed to failure. What Trump has done, and I said in a video before, some of his ideas were good, and I agree with them. A border wall, I see nothing wrong with that. Handling or dealing with this immigration crisis, I see nothing wrong with that. But it's the man that he is. He's a weak man. A weak man cannot be a leader. He's spurred by emotions, by impulses. He lacks the capacity to reason and think. You may not know it, but the organs of government have been gutted and destroyed as we speak right now. We're living in this illusion of a fantastic economy, but go down there and look at the reality. The stock market is going up because tax cuts, free cash from the Fed, stock buybacks. Me, CEO, stock price goes up, bonus, cash out, millionaire. Me, you, poor piece of shit. Get out there and work, motherfucker. I'm the CEO, bitch. I'm gonna play golf. I'll cash out of my stock options tomorrow. If we go to Iran, I'll close with this. If we go to war with Iran, regardless of the outcome, it would have sealed the end of America. That would be it. The American empire would be over. Please, think hard about your next move. As usual, God bless. Good night. Have a good day.